Welcome back to Wonderful Radio. For episode 32, we are happy to welcome Roxcizzle. She has provided a beautifully crafted house mix that you will definitely enjoy. But before we jump into the music, we got a chance to chat with Roxcizzle and find out more about her music journey. Enjoy this episode on Wonderful Radio. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Silly Girl Carmen back with another episode. I'm super happy to be sitting here with Roxanne Kali-Rowe, also known as Roxcizzle, who is a model, actress, and DJ. She's doing her thing, and we get to interview her today on Wonderful Radio. How are you?
I'm doing so well, thankfully. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to see you. I like your background with the plants, the plant life going on.
I like to thank lockdown.
Right.
You decorated my whole space.
Exactly.
I think that we needed that time at home to be able to see what we actually wanted to change or add.
True.
Thank you.
And plants brought the life back to like the dead time.
1000%.
All right, let's jump into this. Just for our viewers, maybe you can tell us where you're from and where you're currently based.
Absolutely. So I'm a South African model, actress, DJ, as well as a digital content creator and now a forex trader. And I'm from Cape Town, South Africa originally, and I moved to Los Angeles just over 2 years ago now.
Okay, nice. Newer, okay. So how would you say the sound or style in South Africa's music culture is different or similar to the influence in American music? And then would you say your sound has a particular influence marked by the culture or region?
Wow, that question is a fully loaded, it's like a fully loaded box meal. I have so much to say on that topic, especially about the influence and the similarities and differences, because I feel that personally I'm a deep house DJ. That is the genre that I play, that is my genre of choice and what brings me the most joy. Mm-hmm. And I feel that no matter where you go in the world, we all are in some way, shape or form influenced by each other, by other cultures, whether we've left the city that we live in or the town that we live in or whether we haven't. Mm-hmm. So South Africa, I consider South Africa to be a global country. It's one of the most developed countries within Africa. Mm. And our musical influences came from all over the world as well. So in terms of the similarities, I do feel that, you know, in your country or in your town or city, you could have a sound that really resonates with the people that are from that place. Mm-hmm. And for me, that would be like the bass lines, the drumming, chanting maybe. We have 11 official languages, so different languages within the vocals of music. Anywhere from the way it sounds to lingo and slang that come with different genres. Mm-hmm. You know, the way of speaking if you're into hip-hop, for example, or the way you dress if you like hip-hop or if you like disco. Right. So I'm really influenced by that aspect. I take that into any set that I create, and that would be the bass lines, the drumming, the chanting. I love vocals in deep house music. Mm-hmm. But there's also so much of America, of Chicago specifically, of New York house that comes through within South African house music. So it's really difficult to kind of pigeonhole genres because house music on its own has so many subgenres.
Exactly.
That we are all interconnected. I can listen to a producer DJ from the Canary Islands or from Iceland, and there's something familiar in their music, in their sound, that I feel like the same way I feel about music that's coming out of South Africa. So in my sets, I always play South African producer-made music. So there's a lot of deep house producers and DJs from South Africa whose music I play in my sets. But then there's a 40 to 50% portion from DJs that are not South African, that are not even African. But somehow it just works.
Yeah.
It goes together. And sometimes people's responses will be different. Like, they may have thought I was going to play more of an Afro house sound, that influence. But then I end up playing a set that's maybe more down tempo or more like gospel house, because I really enjoy the lyrical element that gospel house brings in. For me personally, I think I was first influenced by the music my mom would play. So a lot of American house vocalists like Robin S. or Sybil or Crystal Waters, like that dance anthems, those dance tracks.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, what really planted the seed. And then as my sound and my ear matured and developed, I started listening to more of the Frankie Knuckles or Louis Vega or, so many different artists. And to this day, I still feel like my sound is developing. I don't have a set sound as such, but I take a little bit of everyone and I take them all with me, whether you're African, South African, from the islands, from New Zealand, it's all in there. It's like a melting pot.
Yeah, that's what is dope about the genre in particular, house or just electronic music. It's the soul remains the same in a lot of it, but then you get all these different styles of variety, and it's fun. I agree with you, like just not having a sound sometimes it's like, whatever. Like I love so much different stuff, and it's cool to go on that journey of a range, So, and yeah, I'm excited for everyone to hear your mix, because it's a beautiful, smooth blend, but still giving so much range and style. So it's awesome.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And at the end of the day, if the music feels good, if it makes you feel good, like I just want people to feel happy at the end of the day, because music is so sacred and it's a part of everyone's life, no matter what genre you're.
Yeah.
So when you're listening to the sets that I record or to me playing live, at least that one takeaway of feeling good, that's what I would want everybody to walk away with.
Definitely. Awesome. So I know you started out modeling at a young age. Would you say your experience in that industry has helped you become a better performer? How has that transition been to becoming a DJ?
Definitely. Because I started out modeling at the young age of 13, I feel like being a preteen or a teenager, your style's developing, your confidence is developing. You're in a developmental stage, and one that's very easily influenced. So by being in front of the camera, modeling has afforded me that comfortability to be able to show your best side. That is what modeling has given me. In all honesty, it's quite the opposite with acting, because I'm an actress and I think 80% of my work now is more acting and film related, or television. So what that has afforded me is the ability to embrace the not so great side. So they want to see the rawness. They want to see what makes you vulnerable, what makes you relatable. And I think having the experience of being both a model and an actress, I get to decide what I show. I get to decide what I'm trying to bring to the performance, to a conversation, to an on-camera interview, or just pictures. So it's absolutely been a strong part of my foundation, and I'm really thankful that I was able to actually get that jump start in it. Because there's a lot of DJs that I know currently that still feel really awkward in front of the camera, whether it's pictures or whether it's actually they're being recorded.
Right.
There's an awkwardness, and I do still feel it even after all these years.
Right.
But I'm able to just like get out of my head a bit more.
Right.
Into my body. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, I like that perspective, how you brought in the modeling was more just the perfect, like, beauty side, but then your acting, you got to explore a range of like, well, I can present different elements, the good and the bad. That's an interesting perspective to go through that journey and find that range. Very cool. So what is your greatest piece of advice you've received and or the greatest lesson you've learned in regards to your career?
Greatest piece of advice. Wow, I think there's so much gems that I've been given over the years that I feel are valid or are relevant depending on what I find myself going through or what humans find themselves going through. But the one that stands out most is just my mom always giving me that reassurance that whatever's meant for you won't miss you. And I believe my mom never coined that saying. That probably was out there in the world. But when she told me that was probably at the most ideal time because it stuck with me. And so now I feel like that piece of advice has allowed me to not become too attached to any outcome and to want things bad enough to have the hunger, but to kind of balance that hunger between your desperation for a job or for a role, because I feel that your energy can either attract it towards you or push whatever you're trying to achieve further away. And by knowing and by holding on to what's meant for you, it's not going to miss you. It gives me a sense of freedom to just let it go. Like as soon as I'm done with a gig, if it didn't go the way that I planned, or a set recording, because we can get in our heads about that. And sometimes I get in my head so much that I don't even put it out. I'm just going to keep whatever I made to myself. No one's going to hear that.
Right.
But I think that by accepting that imperfectness, and by knowing that whatever's on its way to you as a result of you sharing your art, it's for you and you don't really have to fight it. It just creates like this flow. And I think that to be able to have flow in your life is of very, very high importance to me.
Nice.
Greatest lesson. Did you say greatest lesson?
Yeah, it could be advice or just something you learned on your own that was like, wow, got that, learned that.
To this day, I would say it would be becoming a mother at the age of 17. And that's a life lesson, right? But no one really says, oh, if you have a child in your teens, life is going to go on. There's a lot of negative feedback that you can get when you find yourself in a situation like that. Your life could be over. Like that's the end of the road for you. You can just think of any negative feedback around a situation like that, right? But when I decided to have my child and become a mom at that age, I think something just shifted internally that has fueled me ever since. I already had the drive and I already had the energy and the tenacity to keep, reinventing myself and keep trying no matter what I was faced with. But when becoming accountable for another human being at that age, it's like, it's no longer about you. It's now about how am I going to show up in the world, not only for myself, but for my daughter as well. And the fact that I have a girl child. So it's a big deal to me. And I think the lesson in that for others may just be whatever situation you find yourself in, you just have to remember that current situation, that current difficulty isn't your final destination. Like you have so much light within you and so much greatness. And sometimes these things happen to actually unearth them within us and not to basically put a damper on the rest of your life or have you become a victim, because that's the most powerless thing you could do for yourself. So becoming a mom at 17 has been the greatest lesson, still is, because I'm learning about my daughter every day. I'm learning about myself every day. And it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's that lesson that you wonder when the test is going to be over, but it's still going.
Yeah. I love both of those. Those are both great. And I love that you brought that up, the piece of advice, because I think, yeah, for all of us, it's easy to be anxious, like you said, attached to like, when is this gonna arrive? Am I in the right, like trying to always figure it out and be in control of the journey. But it's like, when you remember that, it's like, okay, like I can do the best next step in this moment, and then I gotta go with the flow. Like it's definitely a lifesaver to like remind yourself those things.
And it's not easy, but if you have a tribe or like your circle of influence has the similar mindset,
yeah,
you have those down days, you lean on them.
Exactly.
You live for that, and it's like it's a balance, it's a give and take. So you're able to give that to others when they need it, and vice versa. So hopefully your circle is golden.
Yeah, very true. All right, we're gonna wrap it up with one more question. So do you have any new gigs in the works for 2021? I know it's still like a questionable, the process of what's available right now. What is Roxcizzle working on or looking forward to in 2021?
I call this year my breakthrough year. 2021 has been, it's only the first few months of the year, but so far I have felt that there's been an immense shift in not only the world, but also my environment and my mental and spiritual and emotional well-being. These things that I started doing at the beginning of this year that has already, set me on a certain path to where I see myself going. And I'm really excited for the way this year is going to turn out, for the way it's already been showing up. I believe that I'll have a few, if not one, residency within Los Angeles. I believe that I'll be playing at a few more venues that I really enjoy, and those are the more intimate type events or brand activations or day parties. That's my favorite. To be able to have a bite to eat, have a drink with friends, feel the sun on your skin, be poolside or beachside, and then be able to go home at a respectable hour. Like the older I get, the more I value sleep, rest, like really good rest. I'm not gonna advocate for the no sleep gang, because I'm not a nice person when I don't get
right.
So there's going to be a few venues that I plan on working with. The conversations are all in the works. All that needs to happen is we need to find out what's happening with regulations. And as soon as I know, I'll be sharing that information out on social media, as well as I'll be making a trip out to South Africa. So in the next few months, I'll definitely be playing on that side. I'm so excited. I haven't been back home since I relocated to my new home. And I miss family and I miss friends, and the energy that the crowds have in South Africa is so authentic. It's so unique. I haven't experienced something similar to it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And so whatever happens, both in South Africa with gigs around the country and stateside, I'll be sharing everything on social once it's locked down.
Nice. Good to hear. Yeah, I know I'm in the same boat of like, I have all these ideas. I want to get out, maybe do a day party, something, even keeping it outdoors, but it's like, we're still kind of, on that teeter-totter of like, is it okay right now? But hopefully all the blessings come through for 2021. It does feel like a good year for sure. And that's awesome, that you'll be going back to South Africa. That sounds like it'll be beautiful. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on Wonderful Radio. I'm super happy, like I said, to let everybody hear your mix. I know it's going to be an awesome journey for them to listen. And we look forward to hearing more of your music and seeing you perform, hopefully, all over the world.
Oh, fingers crossed. I claim it. Thank you so much for having me, Carmen.
Yeah, thank you.
I want so much love and light during this time.
Yes, thank you. Have a good one.